Good morning to all and welcome. You're welcome here no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, no matter what is your background. You're welcome here to join us as we proclaim worth in our spiritual journey. You're welcome to join us as we sing songs that uplift our very beings. You're welcome to join us in a community as we learn, live, and love together. All are welcome as we worship that which gives us each meaning and value, no matter what you call this hour or this gathering of people. We worship as one body. I know we are apart physically, but we have certainly proved that we're not alone. We welcome you this morning to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Northern Nevada, where it is our mission to grow together in love, faith, justice, and joy. I look forward to this time together where we can connect for a time of reflection. My name is Xiomara Rodriguez, and I serve as your worship associate today. We have asked everyone to stay home and view us on your hear us on your personal devices. Know that we still welcome all to be part of us regardless of racial identity, age, economic circumstances, immigration status, sexual orientation, or gender identity. And doesn't that seem more important than ever on this time? If you're someone who is viewing us for the first time, and this is your first exposure to us, feel free to contact our office or website for more information, and it's also where you can download a newcomer form. You can sign up for our newsletter that keeps you informed of all the activities here at UUFNN. You may notice on the top screen there is a speaker gallery view. You can toggle back and forth for however you want to view us this service today. Also, you can go to the upper right corner of your picture and you find three dots there. Look for the portion that says rename and change the name in your picture. We love to know who is out there so we can say hi. You will remain muted throughout the service. You can make comments on the chat box anytime, and especially during joys and concerns. You will be invited to join us for coffee time immediately after service. Thank you for being with us.
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
Indeed, we shall learn to lead with love in this great turning. One of the things that I love so much about fall is that it is such a great reminder that change happens. The seasons do change. There are new beginnings. We feel the crisp air on our faces. We see the beautiful colors, and we're reminded that change is indeed in the air. May today be an oasis to prepare us for the changes that are coming. May today be a time out of time, away from everything that is out there that we are bombarded with, a time to let go, a time to come fully present to each other, to our breath, to our hearts, to our spirits, a moment of rest to soak in the nurture that we need for these days. Welcome to this oasis.
We're going to light our chalice this morning with the words from Ashley Haran, who is leading our national You the Vote effort. And I invite you to light your own chalices as we read these inspiring words from Reverend Ashley. In this time that is both like every other era and like no other time in history, it is audacious to declare our faith and to commit our work to a world that is more free, more just, more whole. But we are an audacious people in good company with many kin, and we are ready to show up and work hard and stay humble and make friends and hold the vision, starting here, now, today, with us, and persevering however long it takes until that other world is not only possible, but another world is here.
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we cry. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
I offer this reading this morning by Luke Stevens Royer, and it's called Prayer Ballot. It was originally written for the presidential election of 2016. And I offer it here because of its application to these days. I walk in as on pilgrimage. The altar cloths are red, white, and blue. The ushers are the women who have been running these things, who have been running everything since before I was born. I'm handed the ballot like a scroll because the questions seem that important, ancient and modern, of what my faith and my country ask of me. Who? Who for commissioner, for mayor, for president? Who for District 8, Ward 7, for school board? Who? Who will do justice, love, and love mercy, and walk humbly? I make my mark with at least a shred of hope that something good will come from this. And regardless, I remember the world won't be destroyed entirely by this. The world won't be saved entirely by this. Marking my vote is like kneeling in prayer, because neither will accomplish anything right away. But the purpose of both is to remind me of my deepest hope for the world that I'm trying to help create. So I rise from prayer and turn in my ballot and remember the who is me and us and we the people. And again, I set to the task that is mine, justice, mercy, humble service in my small corner of the world.
This is the time in our service when we have the opportunity to share our bounty with each other. Since we're not physically together to pass the basket, we can do so virtually by texting 73256, putting UUFNN in the message box and hit send. Then follow the instructions to provide your offering. We are also once again sharing the plate, and this month is with Sage Village. You have to text separately from your offering. We can also mail a check to the office at 780 Del Monte Lane, Reno, Nevada, 89511. Although the slickest way and clearest way to donate is to sign up for automatic giving. Contact the office and Carol will send you an automatic draft authorization form or pull it from the webpage. It is in these times when we see the real strength of our fellowship. So many of our members have pulled together in some amazing ways. I continue to witness all the volunteers who are doing so much to keep us all in touch with one another. I'm grateful for the staff who are working so hard to keep wheels turning as we move through this time together. I am proud of Reverend Karen and the board for keeping us safe and making decisions about our future based on the last medical information available. We really do care about one another. So much goes behind the scenes. This service will not be possible if it weren't for several people who each work hands in all the technical details that's making this service. Big shout to all of them. Thank you everyone who has stepped forward to make sure our fellowship is financially secure in these uncertain times. We're aware that there are some who cannot make their commitment because of the current situation. So I urge those that can to please contribute beyond your pledge. I'm feeling positive that all of us stepping up will be stronger than ever. Thank you for taking care of our beloved community. Now let's the sharing begin. I would like you to join me as we bless this offering to the work of this fellowship, which is helping more people grow in love, faith, justice, and joy. We dedicate ourselves, and these are offerings.
The Reverend Dr. Susan Gray, bringing our message this morning, began her 6-year term as president of the UUA in June of 2017. She represented the UUA at the Charlottesville protests in 2017 and at various social justice actions around the country. Prior to her election, Susan was the lead minister of the UU congregation in Phoenix, Arizona, and she had a national voice there for immigrant rights, and she played a critical role in the campaign to end the constitutional violations of Sheriff Joe Arpaio there in Arizona. She's a lifelong UU. She's served congregations in Nashville, Tennessee, and Youngstown, Ohio, in addition to Arizona. And we're excited to have the Reverend Dr. Susan Frederick Gray, UUA President, bringing our message today.
I was 13 years old when I became a Unitarian Universalist. I was raised in this faith, but I was 13 when I claimed it as my own. It was a Sunday afternoon, and I was waiting for my parents to finish their committee meetings after service. All the other kids had left, and I was bored. I wandered into the visitor's corner, and a little red wallet card caught my eye. It said in bold letters on the front, "What do Unitarian Universalists believe?" My 13-year-old self wondered, what do Unitarian Universalists believe? As I read the 10 statements written by the Reverend David O. Rankin, in my heart, in my soul, as I read those words, I said, yes, this is what I believe. One phrase in particular planted itself in me like the deepest truth, and I never forgot it. We believe in the motive force of love. It was in that moment when I knew that this was my religion. I start with this story to ground the work of UU the Vote in our theology, which is its foundation and its inspiration. This year marks the 250th anniversary of what we celebrate as the beginning of universalism in the United States. It was on September 30th, 1770, that Universalist John Murray preached his first sermon on this continent. And the truth that I read in that little red wallet card, the truth I've never forgotten, is the message of universalism. 250 years ago, in the context of religious notions of God rooted in punishment, damnation, and the division of humanity between worthy and unworthy, saved and damned, the idea of universal salvation, that God's love is unconditional, that no one is cast out, and that salvation is not individual but collective, was radical and liberating. Universalism proclaimed that humanity was bound together in a common destiny, and that love is the thread that binds each of us to the other and everyone to creation. Universalists believed that God is love. They also believed in hell. They just believed that it existed here and now on the earth. The great Universalist preacher Hosea Ballou was clear about how politicians and those in power used fear, stoked fear, to protect their greed and corruption and self-interest, and he knew the suffering that resulted from that. Rather than speak of theology in terms of speculative notions of God, Ballou spoke of it in terms of human experience here and now and our relationships to each other. A society that lives out the motive force of love would be one that fosters joy and liberation and thriving for all people. This is the highest calling of our faith as Unitarian Universalists, to live out, defend, and embrace this motive force of love in our lives, in our actions, in our commitments, and in our society. This is why UU the Vote says vote love. Today, in our context, we are witnessing the emboldening and authorization of ideologies rooted not in love and interdependence, but in domination, authoritarianism, and dehumanization. And just to be clear, this is not new. It has a long and deadly history on this continent, going back more than 400 years. And yes, even our Universalist ancestors came from that same lineage of Christian European conquest and limited the vision of universalism only to white society, a limit that we are still trying to redeem ourselves from. It is dehumanization that creates systems that put children in cages, that deny health care to our transgender siblings, that allow police violence and the murder of Black people to continue unabated and without accountability. Dehumanization that allows triage protocols that devalue the lives of disabled people and that lead to systemic divestment from communities, the resources from housing to education, healthcare to jobs, and the criminalization of poverty. Just as Hosea Ballou named it, the tool of dehumanization, its propaganda, is fear. Propaganda that tells us to fear our neighbor, that we are not family and kin, but enemies. This is the exact opposite of our theology of universalism that tells us that we have a common destiny and we are connected to one another in love. This is why UU the Vote says vote love, defeat hate. And while the forces of dehumanization and domination have always been a part of US history, so too have been those who have resisted and organized for the values of dignity, equity, humanity, and love. These days are heartbreaking, they're infuriating, and they're frightening. On days when I lose my own strength, I turn to the words of Alice Walker, who reminds us, we remember our ancestors because it is an easy thing to forget, that we are not the first to suffer, rebel, fight, love, and die. The grace with which we embrace life in spite of the pain and the sorrow is always a measure of what has gone before us. We remember our ancestors, theological, familial, and in movement. We remember Francis, Ellen Watkins Harper, Hosea Ballou, John Brown, Sitting Bull, Ida B. Wells, Dr. King, Anne Braden, and so many more whose names history does not remember. Those who struggled and risked and fought and loved for the principles of justice, equity, liberty. This is why in You the Vote, we say vote love, we say defeat hate, because dear ones, we are on a precipice. Every single one of our most deeply held values is on the line right now. The current powers in government are showing in everything they do that the inherent worth and dignity of so many immigrants, Black people, disabled folks, trans and queer people does not matter to them. Human agency, interdependence, the democratic process are being disrupted and defiled daily. It is a radical act of faith to not only continue to believe in all of our cherished principles, but to demand them by speaking out, taking risks, organizing, leveraging our resources, and building networks of solidarity and power to protect one another and these values. We are on a precipice, and our actions right now will affect whether we have a chance to continue to bring our bold values forward, to rebuild, expand, and strengthen our democracy, to confront police violence, to upend racial inequity, to change divestment from communities, and make moves to protect the climate. Now is the time to draw on the grace, the courage, and the strength of all those who went before, to widen our comfort zones, and to do all we can to vote love and defeat hate. If you haven't taken any form of action yet, sign up for a shift with You the Vote. I can tell you that it's fun. And if you've written postcards to voters, but you feel nervous about phone banking, do it with your fellow UUs. And if you've been all in with You the Vote from the beginning, keep it up and start planning for how you will show up and organize after November 3rd. Because democracy will not be restored in one election. It's been under systemic attack for decades, and justice will not roll down like waters in one election. Voting matters. It's absolutely critical, but it is not the end. It is just one piece of the long haul work of organizing for a future where all are free and where all can thrive. Will you show up in the streets, set up to contribute to a bail or legal assistance fund, open your church building to protesters needing refuge from state repression, tap into your own endowment or discretionary funds to make sure that grassroots organizers have the funds they need for their work? There is so much to do. And our faith calls us to love more radically, to give more generously, to believe more fervently that another world is possible, and be willing to be all in for that future. As you've heard me say many times before, this is no time for a casual faith, no time for a casual commitment to what you hold most dear. And this is no time to go it alone. Friends, we are in this work together. I invite you to be deeper in this work of You the Vote with us. May we remember that we are held by love always. May we remember that we are held by and with one another. And may we all together be all in today, tomorrow, next month, and next year for justice, for love, for democracy, and for a future that is free and thriving for all people. May it be so.
Find a stillness, hold a stillness, let the stillness carry me. Find the silence. Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony.
May these moments of stillness nurture our souls to our very depths. Ground of our being, spirit of life and love, holy presence, God, Goddess, all that is. We come into these moments burdened, worried, excited, joyful, uncertain. Part of the mystery that is community is that we come however we are in this moment. Some of us bring sorrow and losses. Others of us bring joy and celebrations of new grandchildren or new pets, birthdays and anniversaries. And we bring the cares that press in from us from the outside world, knowing that in these moments, in holy presence and on the mysterious, sacred ground that makes us one even while we are apart, we join together in these moments to share what is on our hearts. And you're invited to place those intentions of your hearts, your meditations, your prayers in the chat box these next few moments.
Seek the essence, hold the essence, let the essence carry me. Let me flower, help me flower, watch me flower, carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony.
And so we gather all of our prayers, the intentions of our hearts, even those that are held in such deep places that we have no words. And we gather them together and we hold them together, not alone, but in the very heart of love. Amen. We want to thank you so much for joining us for today's service. You're always welcome to be here on Sunday mornings for this oasis, this time out of time, for us to be together, be nurtured, and be lifted up. Please do watch your emails for programming, and please do share this link with people who might benefit and might be lifted up from this time together on Sunday mornings. If you need support in any way, or if you're just not feeling so connected in these days, please reach out and let us know that, so that we can support you however we can with phone calls. If you're in the hospital, we would love to support you in those situations as well. Any life transitions, our caring committee can provide some meals. We would love to be a support however you need in these days. Our posse is continuing to serve our hungry neighbors on Wednesday evenings, and you can help by dropping off Capri Sun pouches, individual snacks, and any canned tomato product between the buildings, and these are picked up each Wednesday afternoon by about 2 o'clock. And that reminds me of an exciting event that we're going to have together, an opportunity to really see each other in person next Saturday afternoon. Similar to the way that we came together the day before water communion, we're going to provide an opportunity to come together on our campus in mass from 1 to 2:30 next Saturday afternoon, just to have a time of visiting and being on the campus, very safely, of course. And we'll also take the time to do a ritual of writing some blessings and intentions that we will use from time to time in our worship, and to give to folks who need a word of encouragement. Kristen has a couple of announcements.
Our small group ministry, which we're calling this year Gather in Strength, kicks off today at 1 p.m. And we are so excited to be able to offer a way for our members and friends at UUFNN to be able to build community and care for one another and hold space for each other. We strongly believe that a pandemic won't stop our connection to one another. We have 10 groups who will be meeting monthly over this year. And it is not too late. If you haven't signed up yet, please email me right now, or maybe right after the service ends, to tell me that you'd like to participate. And it would be really helpful if, when you email me, you can also let me know which group you would like to be a part of, so that we can make sure that you're in that group already by the time the kickoff starts at 1 p.m. Those groups were listed in this week's e-announce. And if you need them again, you can just email me as well. And more details are going to be in the chat. And I also wanted to tell you a little bit about our children and youth programs. You all have probably noticed that we don't get to see our children and youth as much when we're not in person. Our youth have been attending their brunch bunch together still, although online now. So they meet monthly for brunch bunch. And they've also been coming together for evening online youth group gatherings. And details are about that are in the e-announce. So if you have folks that would like to participate, check that out. Our children have a couple different programs that we're going to be offering. Children 5th grade and younger are invited to join us today at 3:30 p.m. for a fun online gathering. Details about that are in the chat box as well. And we're very excited because on the last Sunday of this month, our families and our children are going to be invited to participate in person, in all safe ways, of course, at UUFNN for a fall festival. And we have a special thing we're going to make available to all of our members and friends of UUFNN. We're inviting you to participate in a car costume parade. If you are interested in coming to the congregation on the last Sunday of the month and participating in the car parade, let me know. Send me an email and I will send you back some details. We're very excited about all these programs and are appreciating the opportunity to still serve our children and youth during these times.
I also wanted to let you know that Zoom has updated their platform in the last couple of weeks, And all of the links are new and updated as of about the last week. So you will want to always make sure that you are referring to our latest emails. Don't go back later than a week or so, or the links will not work. So please make sure that you're always using the most updated links for our worship and for all of our events. I do want to clarify that the event this coming Saturday will be outside. We'll gather together. You can just drop in and visit with folks for a little bit. And it is also a drive for the posse. We're asking you to bring on Saturday for the posse Capri Sun pouches and individual snacks such as granola bars, and also any canned tomato product, and those get used in making sauces. The posse is always also in need of volunteers for folks to help prepare the food. And if you would like to do that, reach out to us and we can connect you with Jane Dunn. I want to invite you to stay on for informal coffee hour conversations immediately following our service. And I can't think of a more appropriate closing song for these days than I Am Willing. Please join in as we sing together.
I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change. There is hurting in my family, there is sorrow in my town, there is panic in the nation, there is wailing all world around. But I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change. May the children see more clearly, may the elders be more wise, may the winds of change caress us, even though it burns our eyes. For I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change. Give me a mighty oak to hold my confusion. Give me a desert to hold my fears. Give me a sunset to hold my wonder. Give me an ocean to hold my tears. For I am open and I am willing. To be hopeless would be so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change. And I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift us up to the light of change.
For our benediction and our blessing, you're invited to put your hands in our windows as our sign and symbol that we are all connected one to another. Indeed, I am open and I am willing. We are open and we are willing. And it is our time to be awake and alive, for we are stronger together for the sole purpose of changing our world. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen and namaste.